Hey, Jay Bird, how are you today?
Yes, I'm doing just fine, sis. How you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. Can you tell the
That's great.
audience who you are and where you are right now?
Yes, hello, y'all. My name is Gerard Seegers. I'm presently incarcerated here in the state of Arizona at Arizona Department of Corrections. I'm on a case which is 300 on one side and 300 on the other side, and we call it the red and blue side, and I am presently on the red side.
Okay, so our conversation today is surrounded around COVID-19. We had a conversation about it a few days ago, and I just wanted to talk to you about some of the things that were happening in prison based on this pandemic that the world is facing today. And I found some of the things you said very interesting, so I wanted to share them with the world.
Yeah, sure. I understand the question clearly. First of all, let me to state that Department of Correction here in Arizona has a total cases of 500 some cases that is being noted, and but it's there are 267 cases active as of right now as we speak. And what's going on in this setting of incarceration is that we are trying to do what we can to keep ourselves safe by having masks, washing our hands, continually to have the maintenance people to come in, what we call the janitorial services come in to eliminate germs by using chemicals to wipe down lockers, beds, toilets, sinks, and doorknobs, things like that. But the only thing about that, this only happens once a week. And during that time they're not there, we as inmates must keep ourselves in a proper perspective to continue to clean ourselves up and make sure the things around us is being wiped down, being disinfected. So this is what we're doing to try to keep ourselves out of harm's way.
Cleaning. What about the ability to social distance, not be so close to each other? Because the CDC guidelines is it.
Right. Well, where I'm at right now, and basically throughout all the Department of Corrections, probably throughout the United States, but particularly on this setting that I'm in right now, it's hard to social distance with each other unless we come out to the yard and then we give ourselves those amount of space that is required by medical to stay within 6 feet. But once we go into the dormitory, our beds is no more than probably about 3 to 4 feet from one another, and that is not within the guidance of having 6 feet. What we found interesting is that we feel that the governor out here in Arizona would not allow himself to make the decision to release inmates because of this pandemic that's going on, because we have a lot of people that serving time right now is within the 2 year statute and probably can do their time on parole that will free some space up into the public corrections just in case if they do need the social distancing where they can put a person a bump and skip a bump and then the person's in the next bump. Now, as we just heard yesterday, that California is now releasing 8,000 inmates due to the pandemic out there in California, and we was hoping that Arizona would follow suit. But according to the interviews that the governor Duce has had out in Arizona, he has refused to release any inmates out of the prison system here in Arizona, which would probably make it very difficult for other inmates not to catch the disease or the virus if it is spreaded on their complex.
Right. And so right now, in where the area that you're in, are there any reported cases that you know of?
Yes, matter of fact, like I said, well, I'm on a complex called Lewis Complex, and on this complex we have approximately at least 7 prisons on this one complex, and right now it is 3 institutions on this one complex has reported cases that is very detrimental to this environment that we live in today in this incarceration setting. So we have one place they call Stanner, which they are on total lockdown as of right now because someone had brought the virus in and some of the inmates have got infected. We have another yard called RAS. It's a maximum yard here. And some white shirt that works for the food industry brought it in and has spread it to the inmates. And we have inmates that locked over at another yard that we call Eagle Point, which is a transition program, and they're using their what they call incarcerated hold to hold inmates in there for quarantine. So yes, we have 3 yards here on this one complex that has been exposed to the virus.
And when you say the white shirts brought it in, can you just explain to the audience what a white shirt is?
Yes, a white shirt is a company that work with the food services, and they're not correctional officers or counselors. They are food handlers, and they come in and help prepare the food with the inmates, so we can have chow during the morning, evenings, and between the morning, lunch, and dinner. And when they come in supposed to get tested, but some of them come in and not showing that they have them symptoms. And then once they come into the kitchen to start serving and preparing around other inmates, one of the inmates will happen just to catch that. And before you know, he'll take it back to the dormitory. And then before you know it, the whole dormitory could be sprayed with that virus.
And so, luckily, in the dorm you're in, has there been any reported cases or anyone feeling ill?
No, actually, we have been very fortunate on the yard that I'm on now. The yard I'm on now is called Bottomland, and right now there's 0 cases on this yard. And due to the fact is that when the inmate come on this yard, we the inmates go to that individual and we ask them have they been tested before they even enter this yard. If they have said that they have not been tested, we kind of get up in an uproar and let the administration know, hey, we don't want this person on this yard until we know that this person has been tested and his results come back negative. And 9 times out of 10, majority of the inmates that come on this yard had already been tested from other facilities before they came into the transition program. And then what happens is they say, yes, I was tested, I was quarantined for 14 days to find out whether or not if I was negative. 1 minute remaining. And then therefore, I was here to come in for the transfer, and then we allowed them to come on in. Yeah, so we have an outside contractor called Trinity Food Services. And what they do, they come in and they help prepare the food and train the inmates to get chow set up, in which it takes 3 meals, which we get 3 meals a day, which is the breakfast, sack lunches during the afternoon, and then we get a hot meal during the evening time about 5 o'clock. And what happens is when we go to the chow hall, due to the fact we don't have the opportunity to social distance in the chow hall because it's 4 people to a table, and we have approximately close to about maybe 75 to 80 tables that is able to be seatable to inmates. So what happened is they had come up with a rule here saying when we go through the chow hall, we must have a mask on. So a lot of people come to the chow hall now and know that we cannot sit down with our friends or our buddies to enjoy chow because of this pandemic that's going around with this virus. So what we do, we go to the chow hall and we maybe bring our bowls or whatever, and we just transfer the food off their tray up into our bowls, and we'll take it back to the chow hall. I mean, we'll take it back to our unit to eat, so we can be separated from those sitting at the table. The only concern that I have with this kitchen thing is that we know that we've been having problems in getting things very sterilized with the kitchen because we have a dishwasher at a certain temperature at 300 to 400 degrees that's supposed to stay up within that range to make sure that every tray that goes through that is scalded. And I know that lately we have been having problems with the dishwasher where the dishwasher has been at the highest temperature, maybe 200 some degrees, which is still kind of hot, but it's not hot enough to really scald or disinfect those trays. So that's why when we come in, we always ask, give us a temperature on the dishwasher right, because when you put foods on the trays, it's hard to look at the tray to see whether or not that tray was cleaned or not, especially after food had been put on there. So that is our only concern when we go to the chow hall. We go into the chow hall masked up, and majority of the inmates, we'll bring our own bowls, and we'll transfer the food over to our bowls, and we'll take it back to the unit to eat, because we feel like that's for our best, for our safety.
Well, who's doing the deep cleaning on Wednesday? You mentioned that there's a deep cleaning once a week. Who's doing that cleaning for the dorms?
Okay, well, we have what they call a maintenance crew, and the maintenance crew is made up of several inmates. And what they do, they work with the maintenance department here, and they'll go and they'll mix chemicals together, some type of chemical or a disinfect type of solution. And then what what they do, they'll come into the dormitories and they'll go down each run. Now, the building I live in, it made up of 6 runs. It go from A run all the way to F run. And what they do is they go down each run and they'll spray your locker down, they'll spray your bed down, they'll spray the walls down, they'll spray the door handles down, and they'll spray your floor down, and then they'll spray the bathroom, which consists of the sinks and the toilets and the showers. And then they have another individual to come in, and where they spray the floor at, they will mop the floor up, and then we have what we call a porter person in our run, and once they get done, he goes and cleans the bathroom while the chemicals is still freshly being sprayed on the sinks and the toilet. And so that is being done by the maintenance people here on this complex. And this is supposed to be done throughout the whole complex here on Lewis.
So no professional type deep cleaning since this thing has started at all?
No, none whatsoever. They solely rely heavily on us inmates to take care of those jobs because they're willing to put an inmate on a payroll to do something that they feel that a professional can do, but at a cheaper rate.
Right.